I found a really amazing local Mexican taco place in my area, and you're gonna have to see this. And that's starting right now. Authentic Mexican tacos are taking off in my area. I've highlighted a few places doing great stuff, and through those projects and the wonders of Instagram, I've been eager to try Tacos Diablo, a restaurant in Nassau, New York, a rural area about 15 minutes drive from Albany, New York. Tacos Diablo is run by a husband and wife team who have a really interesting story, and we'll get to hear it from them both today. Dominic is a Culinary Institute of America trained chef, which made it really hard to decide between a few menu items. With some help, Bonnie, who runs their social media, helped me lock down some things. All right, I will do the tacos with Carnitas. I will do the quesadilla with the Calabacin.
Now, for your tacos, you want to do the chef's choice with the Carnitas. We recommend it with the mild tomatillo salsa, the pickled onions, the queso fresco cheese, and the fresh cilantro and onion. How's that sound?
Do them that way.
Yes, all right.
But I got something I'm going to throw on after too.
Okay.
I would like to try an elote. And then I'm going to try all the salsas. And you know what? We'll do a Diet Coke. I figured carnitas was the most complicated protein on the menu, and who doesn't love carnitas tacos? Watching these get assembled, I noted the double corn tortilla, a sign of a great taco, piles of juicy pork, pickled onion, some crumbled queso fresco, and a healthy dose of cilantro and onion. The quesadilla had to be the most Instagrammable food on the menu, and I went with the vegetarian squash option. Not a typical move for me at all, but I put my trust in the chef. Why not? Onto a flour tortilla warming on the flat top, a hefty dose of mixed cheeses and some roasted squash go inside to meld together, and then it's plated up with a few accoutrements. Now, while he was making my street corn elote, distracted by the video production effort, I totally missed a special chef's touch, and you'll see me react to that once I taste it. Onto the grilled corn goes a liberal dose of crema, so the crumbled cheese and chili powder stick. You don't realize how much food it is until it's in front of you, so let's see how it tastes. Okay, so I got a little carried away with ordering here. I had to get a good enough sampling of everything that they have, and in speaking with the owners there, Dominic and Bonnie, it kind of seemed like I had to go a certain way with certain things. They don't let you pick individual meats per taco, so if you get an order of 3, you got to get the same meat, which is understandable and fair. In that case, he kind of talked me into getting carnitas, which comes with a tomatillo salsa, pickled red onion, cilantro. It looks amazing. Some cotija cheese on there. I honestly don't even know where to start, because I also got the elote, and the one thing that I really had my eye on that they have here is kind of a squash. They call it Calabacin, and what I decided to do was get their quesadilla with that inside. So where should I start? I guess just because it's the hottest out of everything here, I'm gonna try that quesadilla. Just, you know, we gotta do the cheese pull. So let's see how it tastes. Ooh, there's definitely like some mixture of Mexican cheeses on there. I think I'm already making a mess here. It's okay. They gave me one sauce here. It's kind of orange. Like a chipotle kind of crema thing. Let's try it with that first, or next. Wow. So that chipotle works really well with the type of squash they use. It's almost like an acorn squash. We're in upstate New York. Squash is a big thing, especially we're headed into fall season. This is good, but there's another sauce with this that I want to try. And it looks like they hooked me up with some pico de gallo, a corn salsa, and guacamole in the same container. So this quesadilla is gonna stretch pretty far. So here's our little white crema thing. So yeah, that's like a sour cream or a crema. Pretty good. One thing to note is that I love this because one thing I note, I just had a little bee encounter there. I love it because inside they have really good vibes. They had some nice 80s music playing, which I love, but doesn't work so well on YouTube. Outside they have this whole little segment of tables. I had positioned myself at one and there were a bunch of bees there, so I kind of repositioned myself to get some better lighting, to get away from the bees, and now they've found the food again. Anyway, I think next I'm gonna get into one of these tacos. I decided to let them load me up with salsas. It has a green tomatillo salsa on it. Anyway, I'm talking too much. You guys gotta let me know when I'm talking too much. Here it is, Tacos Diablo, Carnitas Tacos. This is gonna be a mouthful and we are gonna be making a mess. Ooh, that's good. One of the things about these mini tacos is, as soon as you pick it up, I'm already making a mess here. As soon as you pick it up, you can't put it down because there's no way to get that structural integrity again. So let's get into these salsas. I'm most interested in this one. She said it was habanero. She didn't warn me about the heat, so maybe it's not that hot, but let's do it up. Woo. habanero, here we come. It's definitely spicy. It has that kind of fruity habanero taste, but it doesn't kill you. That's kind of one thing I hate about habanero salsas. Sometimes they're overly hot and they don't really do much with flavor. That's really flavorful. Next up, we have this kind of, what is it called? An avocado. Kind of an avocado crema. Let's go right in. Ooh. Making a mess. That is like straight up avocado flavor in its purest form. Very good. So far, I'm keen on that habanero salsa. One thing I'll say, and it could just be that they're not trying to over soak these tacos, so I'm glad I got some extra salsa. The carnitas is just perfectly kind of moist, but for me, I could use a little extra salsa, so we'll go. They gave me a little extra green, so I'm gonna go on with that as well. Not that I'm trying to throw off the balance of what the chef is trying to put together, but sometimes you need more. And in general, I don't really like the tomatilla salsas. This one here, though, is very good. It's simple. You can definitely tell that they're not convoluting it with spices and with other types of herbs and things like that. This is pretty damn good. Of course, I would be remiss not to try the red. Now, I think the red salsa would probably work better on the chicken and or maybe the chorizo tacos, but I gotta try everything, you know? I already regret that for budgetary reasons, I can only try what I have here. This is $35 worth of food, so I shouldn't regret. Anyway, red salsa. Let's see how it tastes. It's definitely like in the vein of like an enchilada sauce, just to kind of put it into something that a lot of people would be able to relate to. I can definitely taste some dried chilies that have been kind of rehydrated and fresh chilies that have been kind of roasted that went into this salsa. That is pretty damn good. I'll have to follow up with what the actual application for that is, because next time I'm gonna be trying that. Quesadilla is hot. It's still hot as hell, and I still got to get into this elote now, but I want to try the guacamole, which is different than the avocado crema. Now this guacamole is extremely chunky, which is what I like about guacamole. Again, this is like your kind of simple preparation, definitely not overdone with like onion, cilantro. It lets the avocado kind of sing for itself and doesn't like kill you with everything else that goes into guacamole. Sometimes people get heavy-handed with the salt, the lime, the onion, the cilantro. It's as good an authentic guacamole as I've had in this area, which says a lot. Next up, I want to try this roasted corn salsa, and we will do that with the quesadilla as well. I'm gonna need a bath after this one. That's really good too. It's like fall in a quesadilla. For me, for some reason, that pumpkin squash, it kind of brings me into kind of fall vibes, even though we're kind of in the twilight of summer here. With the corn, it like brings all of that together. This is melting all over my hand. The cheese in this quesadilla, and I don't like doing this all the time, but it's probably my favorite quesadilla cheese that I've ever had. It has that stringiness to it, like a Oaxacan cheese, and that kind of salty, funky, it's like mozzarella to the next level. So good. All right, just one more thing to try here, the elote. And there's no good way to do this except to just dig right in and make a mess. And we are. Jesus. Might have to see where the nearest hose is here. Oh, that's good. I think that same chipotle spice is on this as what's in that dipping sauce for the quesadilla. Cotija cheese, nice and salty on top. This is so good. This is one of those things. It's a $5 Mexican street food. The perfect side dish for this type of thing. And just the perfect thing to just get down home and get your elbows on the table and just eating a corn cob. Nothing wrong with that. I think the closest thing I've had on video was esquites at Tattoo Tacos. This blows that out of the water. Not that we're comparing. Just so good. The cool thing about this place is I'm kind of flanked right in between two of my favorite taco places in the area, right where I live, which is actually pretty far from this Tacos Diablo. Earlier this year, we went to La Capital Tacos, which has multiple locations in my area. A couple years ago, I went to a place called La Mexicana, which is the Mexican grocery store, and I live literally right in between those two places. This place here, I had to literally cross 4 counties, 2 different highways to get to this place, Tacos Diablo. This is about 15 minutes away from the actual city of Albany. You have to drive through a little bit of country. What this reminded me a lot of is headed south toward the Outer Banks through Maryland, Virginia. You see taquerias there all the time. This is kind of like that type of vibe where you're on kind of a country road and all of a sudden you see a place making authentic Mexican tacos right there off the side of the road. It's kind of the type of thing where if you want to take a little bit of a ride outside of your typical routine, it's a nice enjoyable kind of drive. pretty amazing. The other cool thing about this place is they have a truck parked off of the Taconic Parkway headed south, and they do catering and they have another truck for that. Kind of another cool little wrinkle to this place. Now that I've tried the food and I understand the flavors, I wanted to talk to Bonnie and Dominic about their story. I've edited their comments here for brevity, but I plan to share more from my conversations with them in an upcoming podcast. So be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on that.
When I met Dominic, he had a taqueria in New York City, and I lived literally around the corner and ate there all the time, almost every night. That's how we met. We moved to Chatham from the city, and he became the chef at a restaurant in Chatham. He was a chef there for 8 years. I was always like, do tacos, do tacos. And he didn't really do them because there was another taqueria in town in Chatham. He didn't want to he wanted to give everybody their space. During 2020, when we were at the restaurant in Chatham, which is called the Blue Plate, he was the chef there for 8 years. And in 2020, we were doing curbside pickup only. And he said, let's do tacos too. And I was like, finally! So he opened up Tacos Diablo as a ghost kitchen inside the Blue Plate. It was such a hit. People loved the food. It was so much fun. By the end of the year, he decided he wants to go full on 100% Tacos Diablo. So we started looking for a space. And we found this building. It had been vacant for 4 years. There's a lot of history in this space. We are here, and it's been great. And we have our food trailer in East Chatham for all of our Chatham customers. This community has welcomed us with open arms. We get so much traffic on this road, people from Massachusetts all the way to Saratoga, and they're coming in here, and it's just been really great.
I've been doing this for about 30 years now, mostly fine dining. After graduating culinary school down in CIA in New York, ended back up in my home state of California, really focused on fine dining. A few years later, ended up moving to New York, spent 15 years in Manhattan, again in the whole fine dining area, with a couple little stints of doing some casual dining, dabbling in a little Mexican food, because that was kind of my California heritage kicking in. And a lot of times you couldn't find those good tacos and that good Mexican food that we're used to in California. And so I thought we would kind of help bring that to the area. After moving upstate here, we definitely saw a void. And during the pandemic, we were able to capitalize on that with a ghost kitchen. We kind of brought our own twist into it a little bit. Everyone here at Tacos Diablo came from that fine dining background, and so we're able to really put in that really extra flavor into the meats. And on our elote, we're drizzling it with a little bit of chipotle crema instead of your regular just mayonnaise or sour cream. We do a blend of queso fresco and cotija cheese and a little bit of chili powder and fresh limes. Everything's made from scratch, having fun and following our passion.
I am trying really hard to catch up to Chef Emeril Lagasse and subscribers here on YouTube. Make sure you hit that button and you won't miss any of the new videos. There's definitely enough menu items that I didn't try that will be perfect for a part 2. If we get this video up to 100 likes, I'll come back right away and do that. The Mexican food playlist is growing here on my YouTube channel. This was a great experience. Click in right here and you could see even more of my Mexican adventures, including some California stuff. I didn't even get into kind of the California versus East Coast. You're gonna want to check that out.